Now, if I was a doctor, completely disagree. But for me, what I do every day, I haven't used science in my career potentially ever.
How high in those science courses did you get? Because I didn't get that far.
Well, we're talking about high school right here, and most states, I believe, require 3 years of science to graduate. That was at least the
Yeah.
case in Illinois. 3 years for graduating from high school of science. And I was in the honors classes, so I was honors biology freshman year, honors chemistry sophomore year. And I actually didn't mind the classes because I will say, and this is the benefit of learning, it taught you how to study. It really
Mm-hmm.
taught you how to study and learn something,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you weren't that passionate about it, which I really appreciate that. And I had some really great teachers. Shout out Miss Carlson. I remember her. She was incredible, and really helped me quite a bit with honors biology. But I don't think I use any science or have ever used science in any of my jobs I've ever had in my life, including internships. And again, that's why I'm so passionate about in high school. If a student hates a subject,
Mm-hmm.
now we don't want them to game the system and say they hate every subject. So let's not fall for this or try to be able to pick a point in the argument. It's more so saying if there's one subject that they can for sure eliminate and then double up on their favorite subject, why not do
Mm-hmm.
that? We
Mm-hmm.
got to do this more. We got to help
Mm-hmm.
students fall in love with learning and get exceptional at one or two things. Being a specialist or a niche focused skill set is so much more monetizable for that person as an adult. And I just really want to help more students.
Yeah, and we were actually speaking to a group of UC Berkeley students, and we shared this with them. And one of their pieces of feedback or their opinion was, "Oh, so what do you say about students who never get to find out of an alternative passion because they weren't forced to take a course that they might have not otherwise have taken?"
So could you repeat that bit? So why they're not forced to take a course?
Yeah, like how would a student, if they're not forced to take science, how would
But
they?
why would they not be forced in elementary school or middle school? I'm speaking high school only. I don't believe the first time you ever took science was high school, was it? Is that the California education?
I don't remember much of my science in elementary. I think I
You
started in middle
definitely took
school. I definitely did,
you
but I
definitely
don't
got
think it
exposed,
was
and that's what
formative. Yeah.
that's why I want to be really careful with our words here. I am not making any comments on elementary and middle school today. It's all high school. All we do at subject is now grades 8 through 12. We do think we'll expand to grades 6 and 7 shortly, but it's 8 through 12, laser focused, and those grades you are exposed to all the subjects before then. And in fact, at my school, I didn't even get to take a foreign language till high school because we were doing all these core courses all the way in elementary and middle school. And so being able to better understand what your superpowers are earlier in life, I think is
Mm-hmm.
super important. And so I would have loved to take more business classes in high school. I would have loved to take a computer science course, to your point, getting exposed more. These electives you don't get exposed to because you're forced to take these core classes. And so I'm really passionate about let's abandon core. Again, not speaking elementary, middle school, but high school. Let's make it more collegiate.
Yeah.
Let's make it more collegiate and even college. We need to have people focus more on their electives. Let's bring, when I was at Penn and again, I had a great experience there, but I was a student athlete. I took some classes that were just guaranteed easy A's, as did many athletes, as did many students.
Mm-hmm.
I took a class called forensics in the nursing school where you had to write two papers and basically get an A in the class. Was that the best use of my time at Penn and helping me become a better business person? Absolutely not. It was the easy way out. And so, if we were helping students not find easy pathways, not be required to take certain courses, we can help them fall in love with learning.
Yeah. Okay, hot take. Do you think foreign languages are a waste in high school?
Trying to put me on the spot here. Well, as someone who grew up with a fluent Spanish mother, and my brother is nearly fluent in Spanish as well, I am not. Shout out to both of them. They're incredibly talented, and far more, artistic and cultural than I am. And so I love being able to learn from them. I have not found a ton of disadvantage in life not having a foreign language. I know that everyone wants everyone to understand so many facets of the world, as do I. We're extremely privileged, and I'll acknowledge that we live in the US and English is truly the business language. English is the language that most business people speak. And so for me, and I think I've even said it to you, I would rather, and this is extremely utilitarian, so let's be able to walk through it slowly, type faster and speak more financially literate. I believe both those skills provide way more value in my career than knowing an additional language. What about you?
I I I agree, and this is coming from a very privileged person who grew up in the United States, who learned how to speak English. Would it be true for a student elsewhere?
Potentially not, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm acknowledging that reality.
Yeah.
But being someone who's in the U.S. and most likely, I don't see myself ever living anywhere else other than the United States. Not everyone is that way, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get the chance to study abroad in college. Wish I would have.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a cool opportunity. But as someone who's going to be a lifelong American, speaking another language doesn't add nearly as much value as learning more about business for me. And again, this kind of touches on that point earlier. How do we help students? Maybe a student wants to go to 60 countries around the world. Learning another language for them would be so important and
Yeah.
valuable and so much fun, and they get to practice it and use it. That's what we want education to become, a facility for learning. And so today I learn every minute. Right now I'm watching 5 YouTube videos while I type up all my email responses for the week. I am always trying to learn, and what we're trying to do here and try to share that passion is help high school become more of a facility for learning,
Mm-hmm.
not checking boxes that someone in the 1800s deemed was required for a 17, 18-year-old to be able to
Mm-hmm.
prove out, to be able to move through the K-12 system.
Yeah, I will say though, for languages, I'm a big advocate of bilingual education and starting it earlier where it's easier for a student to be able to grow. I think it's almost a waste for a student to take 2 years in high school versus if they had a bilingual education starting in elementary school.